My name is Richie B, and we welcome you, Bridge Nation, to, of course, Top of the Bridge Up and Go for today. And it's a beautiful Monday morning, the 20th of March 2023. Let's get to this right now. WTF?
What the facts? All right, here we go on, Bridge Nation. Jamaican sprinter, yeah man, we again created history in Tokyo Olympics by retaining her 200-meter title.
I think I know where you're going.
In 21.53 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Here we'll go on with a track records. Jamaican sprinter Elaine Thompson-Herah created history at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 by retaining her 200 meters title in 21.53 seconds. This time follows her historic 100 meters win of 10.61 seconds on July 31st. She broke Florence Griffith Joyner's Olympic record of 10.62 set at the 1988 Seoul Olympics.
All right, we're doing WTF like a relay right now, Shelz, so I'm going to pick up my leg.
All right.
So last year, Thompson-Herah became the first woman to retain the sprint double at the Olympic Games. In the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, Thompson-Herah won the 100-meter gold medal with 10.71 seconds. Well, she went on to win her second gold in the 200-meter final, clocking 21.78 seconds. Thompson-Herah is the fastest woman alive and the second fastest woman in history. With her 200-meter Olympic win, she also ranks as the second fastest woman in the 200 meters. She also shattered Jamaica's 200-meter national record of 21.64 seconds, which was set by Merlene Ottey way back in 1991. So, as it is as we speak today, Elaine Thompson-Herah now holds 4 of the top 10 times ever run in the 100-meter. And, by extension, she is the only woman to run 4 legal times under 10.7 seconds in history. How about that? Where's the applause?
Big up yourself.
Yeah. Elaine, we're proud of you, someone.
Yeah, man,
Trust me. Yeah, well done indeed.
Yeah, give them all. Yeah.
All right, Bridge Nation. I know this gentleman is a legend on the track, but maybe it could be a legend as a panelist for like football matches or something. I don't know, cause him have the golden touch. I'm talking about Usain himself, Usain Bolt. Yeah, man, he had some vital info to share with Manchester United's manager Erik ten Hag. Again, ahead of a very crucial win, as the Man U fans will know yesterday. Get lucky, nah, say nothing. But it was a good win against Fulham yesterday. Now, the retired Jamaican sprint legend was actually at Old Trafford on Sunday to watch Man U take on Fulham in their FA Cup fixture. Now, it appears that the longtime United fan brought some good luck to the team as Man U won the game 3-1. Now, Usain even predicted what the score would be ahead of the game. So here we go, and he tweeted out a video of himself announcing what he thought the score would be. I think it's going to finish 3-1, he said while smiling. And Bruno Fernandes put the third goal in the back of Fulham's net in the 96th minute to give Usain exactly what he predicted. Now, being a star and a big fan of Man U, both got to meet with the Man U boss Erik ten Hag at the game and posed for a candid photo. And the caption read, "Just passing on some vital information," and at Man United fans in Jamaica to Coach ten Hag. He also posed for a photo op with the great Sir Alex Ferguson, who is perhaps the most famous and most successful Man U coach of all time. Ferguson, as we know, managed the club from 1986 to 2013 when he retired. And Usain simply captioned the photo with a goat emoji, which is right. Good win, Manu. Big up yourself, both.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
On their behalf.
Yeah, it was a crazy game, but big up yourself.
Indeed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a good look with Bolt and ten Hag there.
Yeah, man. A bold place, I don't know.
Trust me.
Old Trafford, oh gosh.
Yeah, man.
Regular.
I wonder if Sir Alex wasn't anywhere nearby.
Yeah, he was.
I have a feeling that he would be popping over to see Sir Alex before he leaves England.
Oh yeah, probably let's like a cup of coffee. Or
Yeah, man,
but they did
like
take
that.
a photo, so I'm guessing during the photo he probably said, let's have a chat.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Vegas is in the news again, and this has nothing to do with the clash that he had recently with Bound to Killer. or the fact that himself and iOctane are also not seeing eye to eye.
Oh boy.
Although it is even worse between iOctane and Cargo. But that's for another that's for another time.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Vegas and reggae label VP Records have agreed to end a lawsuit over the dancehall star's claims of copyright infringement, breach of contract, unfair competition, and unjust enrichment, according to court records that were filed late last week. The parties said in a New York district court that they agreed to dismiss Vegas's lawsuit with prejudice, which means it cannot be filed again. So they did not provide details on the settlement, but the artist had sought unspecified damages on the 4 claims, as well as punitive damages and attorney fees and costs. So it is now no longer in existence due to this this agreement between Mr. Vegas and VP Records.
Interesting.
All right, so somebody, I would imagine, might have paid some money to somebody.
Yeah.
In the process.
Settle outside of the court.
Yeah.
Settle outside.
But we don't know who paid whom,
Yeah.
and we don't know how much was paid to whom. And maybe 5 years from now we might still not even know. But the important thing is that they have settled. Itana's case is still there, and we'll see how that one pans out as well. But I also wanted to share a quick one on Stonebwoy. Yeah, he's Ghanaian and he's a dancehall star. Well, he has recently revealed that his fifth album will be coming out very, very soon. And he said, and I quote, "There are some heavy names on there. I don't even know if I can release it right now, but I could drop it, and I'm going to drop it over here." So imagine Shaggy and Stonebwoy, he said. Imagine Stonebwoy and Angelique Kidjo. He said, imagine Stonebwoy and Dexter Daps. Yeah. He says Dexter Daps' collaboration will definitely be for the ladies. Not surprised. So he's a multi-award-winning Ghanaian musician. He also mentioned that he'll showcase some Amapiano music, which is very, very popular music coming out of South Africa, and some reggae sounds. And he says he also has on the album one of the top DJs from South Africa, who goes by the name Maporisa, who will also be featured on the album. He didn't name the date when it will be coming out, neither did he give the title of the album, but he said that it will not only have commercially successful or mainstream acts, it will also have some up-and-coming artists as well. Good luck to Stonebwoy as he gets ready to drop his fifth studio album. That's it for Update. It's time for
the proverb of the day.
Let's get it.
Hagnamwe mangimfa.
What?
Hagnamwe mangimfa.
Okay. Agniam, why mind game for? That's all? Like, I see the meaning on the paper, you know, but this not that one doesn't make no sense. I mean, can I run that again, Kevin? Please. Yeah, that's some here. No, that's.
Hagnamwe mangimfa.
I know English that, but alright. Agniam, why mind game for?
Right.
The meaning. Here are the meaning, simple odds.
Yeah.
To each his own. No. Me not understand. Richie, me not understand.
Get out by that, right?
We can't talk now.
Yeah, man.
On the done with
Yeah.
they are gone.
Oh.
Kevin, let them go on the other part.
All right.
I want to Richie so quiet.
All right.
You can say I'll go and chat, bro.
You don't remember that?
Yeah. All right.
Let's go.
To each his own. See that? Pun intended. See that? To each his own. All right, Richie. That's the proverb of the day.
Let me say a thing now.
All right.
It's now time for the pet peeve of the morning. Pet peeves are things that people do that you find annoying, irritating, or upsetting. So here now is the pet peeve of the morning.
One of my pet peeve in a Bridge Nation and up and go is people who try to small up your achievement because they don't think it is, in their eyes, it's nothing much to celebrate. Them try to, push it aside like, oh, it's nothing, that's whatever. I may say, it's either a bad mind or you're not a good friend or you're not a good family member, because nonetheless it's an achievement for me, So if somebody set a goal and them achieve it, but to you it is nothing, fine, keep that to yourself. But don't try to small up my thing. Yeah, man. Free people will go on, so.
True.
I don't like that.
Yeah, man. And that is why when you go on your journey in a life, you don't watch nobody and you don't seek validation from other people. Because
keep your blinkers on and just go through.
Yeah, man. Because but it rough with it forward from family still, Richie. Like you do something and you're so grateful and you're so proud of it, and like all your parent or your cousin or your sister look at you and say, that's you go answer for. Yes.
Maybe you're going in a direction that mommy and daddy just didn't like.
Yes.
And they're having a hard time coming to terms with it.
No, just say yes. More and see you do it.
Yeah.
And if you not do it, then hush. My life.
Can't tell mommy that.
No, lie at them.
You have a lot of stories like that. Listen, you have a lot of stories like that.
Yeah, man.
But there are some who, ideally really just want to play. You're not gonna make it if you're bad, man. You know what I mean? Draw a natural block and get them. Now, there has been some mixed reaction over the Prime Minister's announcement of the minimum wage increase, which is due to go up by 44% in June of this year, as he declared in his budget presentation recently. This morning, we'll be joined by the president of the Jamaica Employers Federation, the JEF, Mr. David Wan, who basically shared recently that his organization was anticipating somewhere in the region of, say, a 25% increase, not the 44% which was announced by the Prime Minister. And the question is, what kind of impact will this increase have on, medium-sized businesses and so on? Can they meet this new demand? We want to look at that. Of course, the minimum wage is therefore set to go up to $13,000 per week for a 40-hour work week. And as it relates to industrial security guards, they will now move to $14,000 per week for a 40-hour work week, up from $10,500. Mr. David Wan is our guest at this time. We welcome him. Good morning, Mr. Wan.
Greetings.
Good morning, Richie B. Morning to you and your listeners.
We haven't spoken for a while. How have you been, David?
I am fantastic, and I hope you are too.
Yeah, man, I am. Thank you very much. I noticed that you were thinking that the Prime Minister would have leveled off in the region of, say, 25% increase on the minimum wage. He has gone to 44%. What are the concerns of employers that you're picking up?
Okay, I think a couple. They were concerned about the inflationary impact of this on consumer prices. For example, a lot of the businesses that operate in, let's say, lower income neighborhoods, they tend to be smaller enterprises. And if they have to raise the minimum wage that they pay to workers by 44%, they're most likely going to raise the price of their products and hurt those people in those lower income communities. So that's one angle, the impact on inflation. The other angle, as I said before, was the smaller enterprise and the rural small enterprises may find it challenging to cope with the steep increase, and it could result in some cutback in employment levels. But let's see what happens, because this minimum wage is adjusted every 2 years or so on average. So, the 44% in 1 year, I think something had to be done to help the lowest level of the society to earn some more and catch up with inflation. But the question is, was it too much too quickly? I would have preferred to see even the 44% over a 2-year period. And, as well as to supplement that, maybe we could have adjusted the PATH program to increase the benefits concurrently with that phasing of the minimum wage. So those are my thoughts.
This increase is coming a year after the last increase was granted, right?
That's right. Just so happens. It usually is 2 years, but now it was sped up because the last one was delayed for a while. So, be that as it may, it's been announced. We just have to figure out, how we make the adjustments to deal with it.
And there's no indication that the Prime Minister might have had made an error in his presentation.
Oh, no. I don't think so. Otherwise, somebody would be looking for a job now.
Now, Mr. Wan, greetings, Shelz here.
Hi.
I'm sitting here with my little notepad and thing, just learning as we go along. And what I'm getting from what you've said so far, it seems as if going forward there's going to be a bit of, an imbalance going forward. Is there any reason why, when it comes to situations like this, we don't see raising salaries for employers, for example?
I don't understand the question. Raising salaries for employers.
In order to help to balance out the situation in terms of, let's say, for example, persons who have domestic helpers, for example, they are affected as well. But let's say, for example, their salaries won't be going up to help to create this balance that the government is looking for. So why is there never a situation where
it's like a one-sided?
Yeah, it seems so one-sided in scenarios like this. Why is that seemingly always the case?
Well, aside from the government, the private sector is pretty much, once you're above the minimum wage, anything above that is left to the discretion of the private sector. So it's really tough to mandate that in the private sector. What you should pay people in the middle, upper middle and lower middle, etc. It's very tough to do that because the companies are private by definition, and they get to decide exactly how much they pay, their employees. So that's rather tough to administer.
Okay.
Just to be clear, Mr. Wan, employers cannot pay less than the minimum wage as of June 1 then?
They should not.
Should not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if they tried to do that, they could run into problems.
Of course, they could. It's now the law of the land.
Right.
Yeah, so we have to abide by that.
So we want to put that out and make it very, very clear. Are you picking up anything as it relates to the industrial security guards and what are you picking up in that arena?
Well, you must be aware of the September 24th court ruling,
yes,
which makes them full-time employees as opposed to contractors.
Yes.
But there's a bunch of adjustments coming based on the September 24th court decision, plus this new minimum wage for security guards. So my information is that they're working out the details, and believe me, we don't have enough time to tell you about the details of the execution of that because there are plenty of domino effects that were created by that. But suffice it to say, I think they're working through their issues. They still have some to work through, but I think they're headed for resolution in short order.
It's interesting that this sizable increase is coming at this time. We spoke with a political commentator recently on this program, David, who basically we're looking at the recent poll results, which kind of showed that the PNP might have gone ahead in terms of popularity in some instance as it relates to the findings of that poll.
Yeah.
And he was saying ahead of the Prime Minister's presentation in Parliament that the Prime Minister had better come with some goodies, to sort of energize the political base. Do you sense that some of that might be considered in this announcement?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Every decision made by government, any government, regardless of who it is, there is let's call it economic decision as well as there's a political overlay. So they have to be cognizant of, what the impact of their decisions is on the political landscape. So yes, I think they had absorbed what was said in that poll, and it probably had some impact. It resulted in some of the thinking in the new minimum wage.
Yeah.
Yes.
But on a wide scale, you don't get the feeling that, say, helpers, for instance, might end up either losing their jobs because persons can't afford, or maybe will be reduced to, lesser hours, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I think it all depends on your co-host mentioned a while ago. It depends on who is employing the helpers. If it's two persons who have regular jobs and they employ one, there may be more pressure. If it is the company that hires an office attendant, is maybe a little more able to deal with it. So it all depends on who is employing that helper. The ability. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll continue to monitor this development, and we thank you as always for your thoughts. Have a great day today, David.
You too. Thanks now. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. David Wan, ladies and gentlemen, he's the president of the Jamaica Employers Federation, the JEF, looking at the recently announced increase in the minimum wage in this country, which takes effect, by the way, on June 1, 2023. And again, if you missed it at the beginning, minimum wage will move from $9,000 for a 40-hour work week to $13,000, which is a 44% increase. And for industrial security guards, they will earn $14,000 for a 40-hour work week, up from $10,500 for that same 40-hour work week. All right? It's now time for us to say good afternoon, because it's afternoon time in the UK, to the big man himself inside of the studios of The Beat, London 103.6 FM. Good afternoon, Robo Ranks. Robo
Ranks.
Hey, good afternoon, or should I say good morning, team from London, UK. Very cloudy. London, 13 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, so I'll allow Shelz to do a bit of maths. But possible rain. Grey, very Londonish, but a very, very pleasant morning. Good morning, team.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us once again and for facilitating this broadcast.
That's right.
We'll be balling down the place.
Do the maths.
Yeah.
I love those maths calculations.
Okay,
when I say it's mild, everybody goes, weird. That sounds cool. I'm like, actually, it's my skin can take this. 13 is not too bad. It's doable. As you see, I've got a t-shirt on. How is that in Fahrenheit?
54.4. 55, sorry. 0.4.
How's that sound, Richie? How does that sound?
I think it sounds cold.
Sounds good for London.
It sounds, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not bad.
Not bad at all.
I got a spring in my step this morning.
You could take a week of that kind of temperature, I'm sure.
Listen, if you had a week at this temperature, you're not doing too bad, you know. You could just about look at the jerk pan and say, we can't do something with you, you know. I can do something with. But under 13 and 12, then, yeah, everybody, let's get back inside. Let's go inside. Everybody inside.
By the way,
inside.
that jerk pan example you used, what's in it? Pork or chicken?
For me, it would be chicken,
okay.
mix of meats and if one of my train driver friend passes around, well, we'd have to clean it and put some pork on it.
No, you wouldn't serve me now. you wouldn't be serving me. We had a conversation on air earlier on this morning, and one of my listeners actually rudely sent a note to me, a voice note actually. Richie, where I try to go on the pork. The best meat that you know, if you allow them pork.
How are people so animated when you talk about I don't eat pork? I mean, it's proven
Everybody
to
goes,
be a very
it's the best meat. It's the best meat.
How is it the best? How is it the best?
Sorry, I'm not saying it is.
No, I'm just saying. Why do people claim that it's the best meat?
I just think it's for
proof
conversation.
Do they have?
I just think it's for conversation. They love the reactions. But but we'll still slap with a pork if not. Even in our shell I will. I'm here.
Go and say that in Iraq and see what happens. Yeah, I'll try it in Iraq. And speaking of Iraq, I shouldn't joke, but you know that it's the 20th anniversary of the invasion where the British troops and the American troops invaded Iraq. And obviously over the last 20 years, a lot of conversation around the involvement of Bush Jr. and Tony Blair. And it seems to be getting louder and louder. And I was just listening over the weekend to, obviously, they would talk up the military commanders, ex-military commanders. I thought they would be on the news and TV programs and radio programs talking up how wonderful and great our inclusion. But it sounded totally different. I mean, there's a lot of soul searching. I listened to soldiers who were actually involved in the war. Although they claim they were doing their jobs, but there's a lot of deep regret. A lot of soldiers who are served in Iraq and haven't been properly compensated. As you know, people suffer from a lot of mental illness, which are, they're asked by doctors to prove, deeply prove their problems so that they can be compensated. So after 20 years, it's Richie, 20 years is a long time, but they can clearly see what they did in invading Iraq was crazy. We got people chasing people around the coast of Britain on boats, and this is a direct cause of what happened 20 years ago. So the way it takes 20 years for people to realize it wasn't the right move. There was no weapons of mass destruction, and it should be, as the British press would normally do, have a big celebration and a hoo-ha, the way the British go, blah blah. It's not sounding like that this morning. So I was kind of watching a lot of that over the weekend.
You've been listening.
That would play out.
I've been listening to what's coming out of Russia, but I'm not hearing a darn thing, to be honest with you. As Chinese President Xi Jinping is meeting with Putin this morning. And I think it is fair to say that Russia, with not many allies, is depending on the Chinese to continue to at least lend them some support, even if it's just moral support. So the Western world is obviously watching what will come out of those deliberations. But I'm not hearing much right now.
Did you see the images of Putin rolling around in his duck feather jacket, driving from Moscow to the Crimea? Like, they've just obviously issued warrants for his arrest. This brother just jumped in his car and said, what arrest? I'm going for a Sunday drive. And he's driving to the I mean, the images, we get to see not so much of the images here because obviously the media, news outlets here, there's a limited view on Russia. But bro, the only word he's out and he's brawling. He's like, yo, I'm here.
In your face.
Here I am in my car.
I ain't scared.
It's crazy. No. I can understand how he looks upon it. He frowns obviously on the West, and it's that's the tact he's held for many years. But it's the way the build up of hostility is coming from leaders across the West to make sure that they nail him as a war victim. But bro, he was out. The brother, like this. Watch him driving his own car. Like I'm driving into Ukraine myself, not armored car. I'm driving. And that's the images that some of the news outlet leaked out. So he looks like, he has got no cares in the world right now.
Yeah. Well, the truth is that he's under intense pressure with all the different economic embargoes against him and so on, and sanctions and all of that. And he doesn't have a whole lot of friends. He does have some friends in China and a few people in South America and a few other places, yes. But I think any way you look at it, just like Trump on the U.S. side, who feels that he might be arrested tomorrow and is calling for protests. Both of these gentlemen are under some degree of pressure, if you ask me. Now, we do have two guests in the studio. We have Camille Evans, marketing strategist at C.M.E. Management Group, and we also have Elijah R. Burgos, and they call him BossLife Lito. I think he's head of A&R at Run It Up Records out of Los Angeles, California. And they're here, interestingly, they're here in Jamaica trying to scout for an amazing, I suspect, new talent. I wonder if they heard about you.
Don't put me on the spot.
Maybe your interest?
Yeah. Let's see how this goes.
But beyond Shelz, they will be looking at other artists, I'm sure. Good morning and welcome to you, Camille and Elijah. How are you both doing?
Good morning. I don't want to have to come steal Shelz from the show. So Shelz, don't ask for what you're not ready for.
Let's see how it goes, boss.
Because
how it goes.
He did say anything to do with those arrangements, I'd act as manager. So if my percentage looks decent enough, then we might be able to work something out.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's double digits. We'll make sure.
But still on a lighter note, my name is Burgess. You are Burgos.
I have cousins, I'm from Panama, so we probably cousins in some type of way or form.
It's actually Burgos.
Burgos. Oh, okay, that's the correct pronunciation. So if you're from Panama, then it is hardly likely that you'd be related necessarily to Bernice.
I'm Puerto Rican and Panamanian, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, I disappointed the show this morning. They saw Burgos and they expected a beautiful woman, but they got a handsome young man. But it's okay. It's all right.
Ladies are going to be quite happy, but a few men might be a little disappointed.
Hopefully, all the men are disappointed, and all the women are, excited.
But that is until they hear the real reason why you're here, because you're providing opportunities, I suspect.
Yes, that's what we're
Tell us some more greater detail about that.
Well, I've been connected to the Jamaican culture for a long time now. It's something that's always been in my roots. every Panamanian has either Jamaican parentage or Barbadian, so it's in our blood. I also manage Bounty Killer for the It's a Party record.
Oh,
yeah.
Respect.
When we were at TVT Blunt, and with the Honorable Earlton Clark, we were the ones that brought the General Super Cat down for his performance after over a decade.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes.
so I've been known to be in this culture and pushing it. But what we've noticed in the States is that there's always these seasons, and I don't mean spring, summer. I mean, we call them seasons in time in radio in the States where they push dancehall. And as suspect, Afro beats has really taken over, and we just kind of sat down and was like, wow, if they're not playing an old Sean Paul or Beanie or a Bounty, you're not really hearing anything from the youth. What's going on? So we said, let's get up and come to Jamaica.
Yeah. Wow. And so the intent basically is to do what?
So I've been running an independent label for the last 5 years in the States, and I've done joint partnerships from Def Jam, the RCA, the Sony system, the Warner system. I've done deals with everybody from Peter Edge to Mark Pitts. So, and these are all the big bosses, So with my relationships, and we've done over 10 million streams in the last 5 years as well.
10 billion.
Billion streams.
10 billion
With a B.
With a B, not an M. Yeah.
Not an M.
So we've done over 10 billion streams. We've had about 25 number ones on TikTok in the last 2 years, which is the number one application for music nowadays. And it's not more so that we want to come over to Jamaica on the label side, but depending on what the artists need, whether it's production or it's business management or it's just a lot of the artists that bandwidth is just Jamaica or Trini, whatever's within the Caribbean. We want to continue to spread it to the UK, the States, and just try to create a global superstar, out of Jamaica. What Jamaica's been doing for forever.
Yeah, forever.
It's just been a while since somebody's really, come and impacted the way a Vibes, a Dexter Daps, any of them have. So that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
My observation is that in the past, wherever we find a Jamaican artist doing well, it is usually like one artist at a time.
Yes.
Going back to what you said earlier, Camille.
Yes.
I long for the day when we can hear 3, 4, 5
When you can have a
artists.
WizKid, a Thames, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And honestly, it starts with the children. It starts with the kids, and I think the artists need to understand, I love what the dancehall and the reggae artists are doing right now. I just feel like they can market it to a different audience. I feel like, they market it in the streets, and that's great. However, the dance music is what made it global. That's
we
what,
want to dance.
That's
we
what
wanna
transcended
party.
from, Elephant Man or Vibes. Their dance records is what really connected in the States. And then their rough street records is what, fed to their core fans. So we need more of the fun, positive, dance club vibes instead of so much
commercial viability
exactly,
is important.
Exactly.
All right,
And collaborations. You see, the global artists are not afraid to collaborate. They're not afraid to pull from each other's fan base.
Yeah, that's
They're not warring against each other over in other areas of the world. You understand? And that makes a really big difference.
I understand.
It does.
Now, Camille, I'm curious. So you guys are looking for the next big star here in JA. How's the search going so far? And for the young talent listening right now, what's the criteria? What are you guys looking for?
We're looking for someone, and Lito can pull. We're looking for passion. We're looking for self-sufficiency. We're looking for an artist that understands what his brand is and where he wants to go and thinks outside the box. We're just looking for somebody that really has the it factor, and you could talk about the it factor.
Yeah, and big ups Jamaica, because there's a lot of dope artists right now that have that are young, which is wonderful, because I love my young artists.
He loves the young ones.
I love the youth. I love artists from 17 to 25 years old. Like that's really my niche. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that if you're older you don't have a chance, but I just love to work with the youth, because you can teach them, you can mold them. Sometimes it's hard to teach a old dog a new trick.
Yep.
But when you have something so young, you can really teach them how to do it the way you need them to, in order for you to be successful with them. But looking for two things that are really big words for me is movement and lifestyle.
Okay.
It has to be a movement, and it has to be a lifestyle, especially coming from Jamaica.
Yeah.
The internet is super important, but what moves within the people is what will connect with the world. So it has to be a movement and a lifestyle. That's important.
Wow. So obviously you've both achieved a lot at various levels, right up the rung, so to speak, in the industry. And you'd have seen it from the label perspective, and from the interactions with the artists. Are you inclined more for the new male sensation or the female sensation, or does it even matter?
It's about the sensation.
It's the sensation.
It's about the sensation,
the
and
music.
no matter what genre or gender or whatever it is that comes through, it's just about, if they have the heart for this and they really want it. You have to understand the artists in the States, it's very different from when I started. I walked into Sony Columbia in 1995.
Yes.
So for us, there was such a thing called artist development. And when we signed an artist, we only did maybe 2 singles leading up to a full project. These kids now, the label's perspectives are completely different. They're not holding hands. The numbers, are just difficult. It's hard for an artist right now. You have to be creative, and then you have to be a social media maven. You have to understand how to edit and your video direct. It's so great that the digital world has come in and allowed for so many youth to have opportunities that they never had before. You remember, Richie, we had to go into studios. You know how much studios cost back then?
Yeah.
We don't need studios. You can have your own little laptop and you're straight. So I just think that Jamaica is the heart of everything. It's one of the biggest trendsetters. You guys have put so much culture on the table. We need to bring it back. Let's go. And we're not here, and we say this all the time, we're not here to make anything or create. Jamaica's been Jamaica.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just need a little push now.
And Lito, just to ensure that the listeners out there are understanding very clearly, some pointers, if you will, in terms of what an artist will need to have, both in terms of attitude and talent and so on, to really make it internationally, and what you're looking for along those lines.
What they need exactly. It's like running your own business. Artists have to look at themselves as a business, as a company. You have to sweep your own front. You gotta wash your own dishes sometimes. Sometimes you have to pack your own shelves. So you need an artist that can run his own business. You know, he should be self-sufficient. He should be able to work his Instagram as well as create his artwork, as well as create his content, as well as create his YouTubes. Just everything, you know, as an artist, you shouldn't be dependent on nobody, especially when you have an iPhone or you have a phone, period. You know, these phones have applications where you can create artwork. These phones have audio box where you can record and plug in headphones, and you just need to go in the closet. Like, there's so many things. So for an artist to sit here and make up excuses or claim that he needs anybody for him to move forward, that's a lie. You need people to help take what you've created and make it bigger. But we can't do nothing unless you make the creation.
Respect.
You start the party, you know? You got to
Respect.
turn the music on and change the lights, and then people will come.
Respect, yeah, man.
You know? That's how it works.
All right, so right now, Camille, people are excited. People are ready. We're ready for the vibes, right?
Yes.
So how can persons contact you guys? Will you guys be having like live auditions? Or how can
Shelz, I actually just got your email. So they can send me music. I'll you know, Shelz just send me email with 50 songs. It's called Shell 'em Down. All right. Shelz, Shell 'em Down. So we you will be giving we'll be sending out blasts where people can submit, you know, the music, their socials and things like that. But other than that, really, you know, I'm big on word of mouth. You know, if I gotta be told about you, then you know, if you gotta come and tell me who you are, sometimes, you know, that's great. However, I like to hear it from the people. You know, I like word of mouth. That's how you find something special.
Okay.
You know.
All right, so let's just say somebody makes contact with us here at the bridge after you'd have left. What do we tell them? Now, just
well, look, my Instagram, and they can follow me on Instagram. It's all my socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. You know, if you're looking for me, this is how you find me. It's Boss, BOSS, Life, LIFE, LITO, Lito. And then you can find Miss Evans at C.M.E. _GRP.
And then there's Earlton Clark. Everybody know Earlton Clark in Jamaica. reach out.
Yeah, he's a real general.
Yes, the general.
Chief of staff.
Okay, chief of staff.
Somebody just recently called him the Honorable Earlton
The
Clark.
He's
Honorable.
the Honorable Earlton
There we
Clark. But
go.
no, shout outs to Earlton Clark,
Yeah.
who's a legend.
Yeah.
He's come from the Lexus days down to Super Cat, down to Bounty, down to whatever we do. We don't do it without Earlton
We don't
Clark.
do nothing
Yeah,
without
man.
Earlton.
Yeah. So if you don't like Earlton Clark, you
You
don't,
don't like
us.
us.
Yeah, that's
Got
the
that.
business. That's the business.
Listen, I wish you well.
Yeah, man.
And
Thank you, God
we
bless.
might even have a few names to suggest as
True
we
that.
go along.
Yes,
but
man.
good
And
wishes.
I think we should try to set something up where we come up once a month, once every 2 months. Whenever I'm in Jamaica, I gotta come here and I gotta
Update.
listen to Shelz music and vibe with the brothers. You know,
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
no
man.
problem.
And
man.
bring
Guys.
Bernice Burgos with you.
Next
Oh
time.
yes, oh yes, oh yes.
Next time when I
you
bring
agree
some
with that?
red stripe and
No.
stuff like, can I bring
I mean,
some?
I promise you, I'd,
Yeah,
stu-
man.
I'd stutter.
All right.
I'd stutter at least at the start of the interview, but I'd settle down after that.
Yeah, I saw the disappointment in your eyes as I walked down the stairs. I said, "Oh, damn, not again."
Oh,
This
my
happens to
goodness.
me every interview.
Everywhere you go, I'm sure.
Don't worry, it's nothing.
All
new.
right. I'm going to try to get the pronunciation correctly this time, though. His
Okay.
name is Elijah R. Burgos.
And I don't tell nobody my
Burgos.
government,
Burgos.
but now they know. Jamaica, don't tell America. Don't tell nobody. BossLife Lito.
BossLife
BossLife
Lito
Lito.
himself in the building along with Camille Evans. They're looking for that new talent that will take the world by storm. It could be you, and you know how to find them by now. Take care, guys, and best wishes, all right?
Big
Thank
up,
you
big
so
up.
much for
God
having
bless
us.
Jamaica.
Thanks, Shelz.
Bless up every
Thank you
time.
for all the love.